Welcome, everyone. I am really glad you're here because today we are continuing the Mystical Archetypes series and we are moving into the shadow, meeting what you have exiled. I also want to name something right away. I had a shadow session a couple of months ago, not a couple of, in November, and it was quite powerful. Stephen, welcome back. It was powerful, and we still had a lot left to explore. So today is, in a way, a sequel. It's a follow up that builds on what we already started with new tools and a little bit more deeper layers, but still in a grounded, safe, everyday life way. So, before we get into today's shadow work, I want to circle back to something from the seeker session. I believe Stephen, glad you're here, asked a really good question. He asked where these archetypes come from, like who created them and what the background is. And in that moment, I didn't have a clear answer. So I said I'd look into it. And I did because I didn't want to give you something vague or like not the correct answer. So I did look into it. And here's what I found. And thank you again, Stephen, for that question. First, it turns out archetypes were not invented by someone the way someone invents a theory. They are more like apparently a pattern and language humans discovered over time. And many cultures across history noticed the same inner roles and themes showing up again and again in stories, myths, spiritual teachings, dreams, and the way people change. And in modern psychology, the person most associated with making archetypes widely known is Carl Jung. And he described archetypes as universal patterns in the human psyche, like inner characters or forces that show up across people and cultures. Later on, myth and story scholars like Joseph Campbell helped bring this idea into the mainstream by showing how many myths follow similar human transformation journeys. And in more modern personal growth frameworks, different authors organized the archetypes into, in a way, a practical maps that people could work with in everyday life. So the way I'm using archetypes in this series is simple. It not as labels and not as rigid boxes, but as a useful map, a way to name inner patterns that many of us experience so we can recognize them, work with them, and grow with more clarity and less judgment about ourselves. And just to place us on the map of the series, we already covered last week the seeker. And today we are in the shadow. After this, we will move through the lover next week. And then we will take a break because I will be away and I will not have another session until April 6th, I believe, or 10th, something like that. Whatever is Friday is. And then we will continue with the mystic, the sage, the destroyer, the creator. And we will close the whole arc with the wounded healer, which is about integration and how wisdom becomes grounded service. Ellie, Chris, Nancy, Lynn, welcome. And a quick note about safety and pacing. Shadow work can be deeply healing, but it should not feel like ripping yourself open or ripping a bandage, right? Our goal today is not to dig for the biggest stories you might have. It's to learn how to meet what is already showing up in normal life for you. with honesty, with respect, with real tools you can use. Uh, no, Vasudha, the first session was last week, but if you missed it, you can find it on another platform. If you go to my profile and go down on the scroll down, you will see a link, and when you go to that link, you will see my social media, and it's on one of my social medias. You will find it. On the other hand, one other thing that reminded me of videos are coming to Inside Timer, guys. So in future, I will not have to put this on another place, but I will be able to maybe post them on Inside Timer. So it's exciting. I already submitted four videos about what did I submit? Uh, oh, I cannot remember the topic, but like four videos on a topic, like part one, part two, part three, part four. Um, what is it? I cannot remember now. It's so weird. Never mind. You will find out, and I will let you know when they are published. I see you, Suzanne. Welcome. I see you, Nancy from San Diego. I see you, Jacqueline. Um, so, yeah, if you missed the first one, you can go back and find it for now at another platform, but in future, hopefully, it will be available on Inside Timer. So, let me briefly summarize what we covered in Shadow Work 101 in November. So we are all on the same page. Last time, we defined the shadow as the parts of you that were pushed into the background over the years: emotions, needs, impulses, truths you learned to hide. Not because you were weak or anything, but because your system was trying to protect connection. Most of us learned early. Some feelings get approval, and some feelings bring consequences. So the nervous system feels like it needs to adapt, right? It hides what feels risky. It doesn't put it out to protect the self. Those parts don't vanish. They don't disappear. They stay. They stay active beneath the surface. So, like boiling the like consider you are boiling water and you put a lid on top of it. The lid doesn't show us that there's boiling water underneath, but the water is still boiling there, right? So they start shaping your life from there. Those sides that you hide underneath. And we talked about how the shadow shows up in everyday ways: reactions that feel bigger than the moment, people pleasing that drains you, inner criticism that keeps you small, controlling behaviors that try to prevent uncertainty, or shutting down when things get emotionally too close, too big. We also use the language of the inner team: protectors that do the managing, and more tender parts underneath that carry fear, shame, grief, or unmet needs. And we emphasized that these parts were not enemies, they were just trying to help, but just using old strategies that might not be the right choices anymore. In that session, which you can also find the recording on that other platform, We also worked with practical tools that many people found immediately useful: the 3-step pause, name, normalize, nurture, and simple body based regulation, the somatic part of it. We talked about mapping your inner team so you can recognize who is driving, sitting in the driver's seat. We practiced a short body check, and we used creative methods like non dominant hand writing to let quieter parts speak. We also framed anger as protective energy that can become a boundary, and we practiced micro repair because when we repair, the nervous system learns that conflict doesn't have to mean rupture. Now, what we are adding today is the next layer that tends to unlock deeper change. And today we will explore projection, which is how the shadow sometimes appears out there in other people. Shame, which is the glue that keeps parts hidden and splits up us inside. And then we will look into the golden shadow, which is the hidden side many people miss, the gifts and strengths we learned to maybe downplay because it wasn't safe at the time to shine those qualities, strengths, gifts. And we're going to leave today with new tools that help you work with triggers in real time, help with shame without forcing positivity, and reclaim maybe the disowned power in a grounded, healthy way. So, that was a little bit of intro to our session. And of course, as always, we will end with a meditation where we will digest and ground ourselves with the information we received. So, archetypes become truly useful when they stop being a theory and become, or we can see them as a mirror. Therefore, it makes sense to begin with projection because projection is one of the clearest ways to find shadow in daily life. We see projection every single day in our social interactions. Projection, what does it mean? It means we place something that belongs to our inner world onto someone else. Sometimes we strongly dislike a trait in another person because we learned we were not allowed to have it. So, because I was not allowed to feel that and express that, I dislike and resent someone else have the freedom to put it out, to express. And and that is projection. Um, that's about the negative. Also, sometimes we strongly admire a trait because we don't let ourselves claim it. Either way, projection is not a reason to judge yourself. It's a sign, it's a clue. It's your system pointing to a hidden something you have inside you. For example, let me give you a few examples now. If you feel intense irritation towards someone who speaks confidently, it might be because you were trained to stay quiet, to not take up much space, to not be too much. They were pushed down as whenever you raised your voice. Your reaction may not be about them, It might be about your own disowned voice. Angelina says, gosh, that makes so much sense. Yeah, it does, right? Or another example, if you feel intense anger towards someone who sets strict boundaries, the reaction, it might be because a part of you has been carrying too much alone by yourself, and your body is finally protesting. You know, and projection is not always literal. Sometimes it's symbolic. It asks, what is this moment touching in me? Imagine this. Let's say you're in a meeting or even just in a group chat, something like that. And there's that one person who speaks up easily. They don't over explain, they don't apologize, they just say what they think. And you watching them feel like something in you gets tight. You start thinking, oh, who do they think they are? Or, oh, they are kind of full of themselves. But then later, when you're calmer, maybe, when you have time to be with yourself, you realize it might not be only about them. It might be triggering something, hitting something in you. Maybe you grew up in a home where being loud, direct, or confident got you judged, got you diminished, got you stopped. Maybe you learned it was safer to stay small and polite, stay quiet. So now, when you see someone doing what you were trained not to do, what you were not allowed to do, then your system reacts to it. That's projection. Not as a bad thing. It's a great information. It's a mirror. Like, oh, there's something here in me that wants permission too. Does it make sense? I really love this because whenever I feel triggered towards something, someone, I right away go back in. Okay, what is it that is being disturbed in me that creates this kind of reaction toward this person or this event or whatever? It's information. And the more we can observe our thoughts, feelings, reactions, or actions objectively, the more we become the master of our minds. And you here, all of you, if you are here, if you have been here many, many, many times, it says so much about you that you are really willing to become that master of your minds so that not your thoughts, but you are in the driver's seat. Lynn, what if just get irritated when people don't stop talking? Is it always about something I wasn't allowed to do, or could it be I'm just annoyed by that behavior? Um, Good question, and I would say this: yes, it is. Most probably, it is um, a belief, something that you learned, maybe growing up, maybe along the way, that um, it's rude or it's not nice to take all the space and talk, 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 talk. Have the um belief that I can say anything, as long I can talk as long as I want, and the other person's time or respecting for that doesn't matter for me. So when you feel that I am being respectful to other people's time, and I don't want to take their time by a long and unended story, why other people cannot think of that themselves? So it includes judgment, right? Judgment. Yes, exactly. I know. Sometimes I feel that way too. And whenever I do that, I do feel that, I check in with myself, because as soon as I judge, I have a formula, and I say I forgive myself for judging myself about this situation. Yeah, judging doesn't feel good. Yeah. Brit, welcome. Lovely to have you here, my friend. Um, Anita, although I do believe that there are some behaviors that can simply be annoying because we are not feeling respected or considered. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is not for everything you feel, you need to look inside. It is not. But paying attention, what are the things that trigger me time and time and time again? And what might that be connected something in me that I have been pushing down, keeping in the shadow? I have been letting boil under the lid. Yes, being aware without judging yourself. Now, let's talk about shame, because shame, ugh, shame is often the main reason shadow work feels hard. Because shame doesn't say, I did something wrong. Shame says, there's something wrong with me. So brings the attention from the thing, event, to me. Oh, this happened because there's something wrong with me. And shame creates hiding. Shame creates splitting. Shame keeps certain feelings locked away because we believe they would make us unacceptable. And what heals shame is not force. Shame heals through safe contact, gentle truth, compassion that doesn't turn into helplessness. When shame gets lower, the hidden parts don't have to shout through symptoms. They can communicate like normal inner signals. What do I mean about by that? There's a super common one. Let's say, and we experience that, all of us, I believe, yeah, we must have. Let's say you send a text or you say something in a conversation, and then later you replay it again and again in your head. You start thinking, why did I say it like that? That sounded stupid. They probably think I'm dumb, I'm annoying. And the funny thing is, the other person might not even care. They might not even remember. But for you, inside you, it feels huge. That's shame. Shame doesn't say, that was awkward. Shame says, I am the problem. There's something wrong with me. And when shame shows up, we hide, we overthink, we want to disappear. We try to be perfect, so we can feel safe again. And the healing part starts when you can catch it and go and say, okay, this is shame talking right now. I'm having a shame moment. That doesn't mean it's true. It just means an old part of me is scared. And even saying that can make the whole thing so much smaller. It shrinks it. Does it make sense? Whenever whenever you catch yourself saying, "Oh, this was dumb. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, are they going to think about me now?" or even like stuff from your past, from your past that's still following you, making you feel shame when you think of that event. Most probably the other people who were involved in that forgot about it long ago. Maybe even like they never even realized there was something happened and you feel shame about it. What Byron Katie says is a remind to you. I mentioned it many times before. What other people think or say about you is none of your business. If you can make your mantra, you'll see that the shame will get smaller and smaller. And what happens is, in my personal experience, what happened for me was it takes so much shorter time to heal from that feeling, that thought. And yes, it's not that I don't feel shame about anything. Sometimes I do. But recovering from that state of emotion or state of being takes so much shorter time now. I go back to my real self so much faster. What other people think or say about you is none of your business. It's their business. She says there are three businesses: your business, their business, God's business. Do not mix and match those things. Always look at what's happening right now and is this my business or not? Or their business or God's business? That puts things in great perspective. And the third one, the golden shadow, the deeper, brighter layer of shadow, the golden shadow. That's where your power has been hidden. You know, many people think shadow work only means working with anger, jealousy, fear, shame, all the bad things, bad thoughts, feelings. But for many people, the shadow also brings gifts, has gifts: confidence, leadership, creativity, sensuality, visibility, tenderness, ambition, success. If you were criticized when you shined, or if you were told not to think too highly of yourself, you may have learned to shrink. So, what you do is you exile your own gold. Then later in life, you feel stuck, resentful, or unseen without really knowing why. So, reclaiming the golden shadow is not ego, it's wholeness. Imagine someone gives you a compliment like, "You did amazing," Or that was really impressive. Great job. And right away you go, oh, it was nothing. Anyone could do it. Or you laugh it off. Or you change the subject. You don't even let it land. Or here's another one, you get an opportunity to be seen, to lead, to speak, to share your work, whatever. And suddenly you are tired, you procrastinate, you find excuses, you delay. It looks like you're not ready. But sometimes what's actually happening is it didn't feel safe to shine earlier in life. Maybe you got judged or teased, or someone made you feel too much when you were proud of yourself. So a part of you learned better not stand out, just be normal, just blend in. So your gift goes into hiding. Not because you don't have it, is trying to protect you. And reclaiming the golden shadow is just letting your good qualities come forward, come to the surface slowly in a way that feels safe. Like letting yourself receive the compliment without saying anything back and just thanking. Letting yourself take up a little more space. Letting yourself be seen without apologizing for it. My son has a therapist. He has been seeing the same therapist for over 2 years, I believe now, maybe more. And one day he told me, and he's a big guy, like 6'4", and like big. And his therapist told him, I noticed that you are like when you're sitting and you kind of shrinking. Like you're not letting yourself expand and be comfortable. Like the way you sit, you shrink yourself. Did you notice that? And he told her, no, I did not. Actually, I think you're right. And they worked on that. And he's so much better now to be proud of his physicality. He's like, as if like maybe I don't know what happened, but we didn't say anything. We were always proud that he's a big guy, he's tall, and we love the way he looks. But maybe someone said something, or you're taking so much space, or you're you're too big, you're like whatever. And we all might have something like that in our past, hiding in the shadow, that keeps coming up, keeps impacting how we show up. Um, so now that we have talked about projection, shame, and the golden shadow, I want to give you a few ways to work with this that are different from what we did last time. And these are simple, but they go deeper because they help you change the pattern in real life. Not just understand it, but implement. Vasudha says, yeah, I shrank myself because my light made others feel small. Yeah, I learned to hide. Absolutely. We do that. Most probably someone said, you shut up now. Let the other person speak, or said something, even something small, especially when we are young kids. Even this kind of stuff gives us a huge message. Saying that, oh, I shouldn't be speaking, I shouldn't be loud, or I shouldn't. And we push our gifts down. So, coming to the tools, the first one is about reactions. The next time you get, you feel like you are having a strong reaction to someone who said it, Lynn, for example, listen to this. Try this. Don't focus on the person, focus on the movie your mind makes about them. Because the shadow loves to speak in stories. Your mind will turn someone into a character, the one who doesn't respect me, the one who always needs attention, the one who thinks they are better, the one who never cares. It's the story you are telling about that person. Instead of arguing with the story, just notice. Notice. Oh, my mind is running that movie again. Because we look at every human being, especially we interact all the time from a filter we already have about them. The first time, second time we interact with someone, we create an image for them. And in the future after that, we always look at them from that perspective through that filter. That's the story, that's the movie we play about them in our minds. But when we say, oh, my mind is running that movie again, and then do one small thing that interrupts the movie, maybe relax your face, drop your shoulders, maybe look at one ordinary detail in the room you are in, a color, a shape, a light, something. It sounds almost too simple, right? But it works because it breaks the spell. The story loses power when you come back to the present because you are practicing mindfulness at that moment. You are grounding yourself, you are interrupting the movie. And once the movie is interrupted, you have so much more choices as your response, your response to that person. I hope this makes sense. It's all about awareness, self awareness. What am I thinking? What is the filter I'm looking through at this person? Yeah. Let's say someone sends you a short message that says, we need to talk. That's the message. Oh. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Your mind instantly starts the movie. Oh, I'm in trouble. I messed up something. They are mad about something. Instead of going down the rabbit hole, you catch yourself and say, oh, movie's playing, started to play in my mind. Then you do your grounding reset, feel your feet, look at something in the room, take one long breath in, out, and then you respond like an adult in the present, not like a scared version of you, little girl or boy from the past. Something like, sure, what time works for you and what do you have in mind? So I'll come prepared, maybe, especially if it's work related. That's shadow work in the moment. Absolutely. So Lynn says, I'm learning to simply observe in that situation. Their behavior is about them and not me. Yeah, exactly. So the next time you get something confusing, a message, something, a comment from someone that makes you feel instantly like, what does it mean? What are they talking about? What, instead of like going on and on with that, just take a pause and say like, okay, I'm going to ground myself. Do those things, a few deep breaths, look at something and touch something, listen to the sounds in the room, take a little small break that will ground you, pull you down, your emotions, and then, who do I need to be to respond to this as a grounded, confident human being? Second thing that comes to mind is this. Bravo, Lynn. Good for you. A lot of people think owning your power means suddenly becoming loud or confident. It doesn't. A safer way is practicing your gift in small doses. Think of it like building a muscle. If you've been hiding your voice for years and years, you don't start by giving a public speech. You start by saying one clean sentence without adding 5 apologies. If you admire people who are direct and unapologetic, your tiny practice is this. The next time someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, instead of over explaining, you say, I'm not available for that, but thank you for asking. You can simply stop there and come up with something you are willing to do and offer that instead. That's an option, that's a choice. It's up to you. The idea here is not saying yes to something that doesn't work for you. Or if you admire people who allow themselves to be seen, your practice might be share one honest thing. Raise your hand once, or let someone compliment you without shrinking it. Not big, just consistent small steps. That's how the nervous system learns that it's safe to be visible. I remember myself when I first started doing these live sessions. Oh my God, I was like so nervous. I was quite shrinked, like quite small. But in time, slowly, but surely. And the thing that is hard is pushing yourself to come back to something that makes you feel so very uncomfortable. That's the work. Knowing that it is uncomfortable and still doing it. Because there's also knowing that the more you do something, the more you get better at it, right? The first time is always hard. It's the learning. The first of everything is part of learning. After 3, 5, 10, you start to feel a little bit better. You start to create a routine, or like things start to become familiar. Speaking of familiar, actually, the other day I shared a post from someone, and he was saying, I love that. He was saying, when you think about something that is scary or that is really uncomfortable, instead of saying or thinking, oh, this is scary, or this is um, something really negative, say, oh, this is unfamiliar. Unfamiliar. So look at things, situations, events, and think to yourself, is this familiar or unfamiliar? Because when something is familiar, you're good. When something is unfamiliar, it means that I need to familiarize myself with this a little bit further to get better at it. I really love that because familiar and unfamiliar, when you use those words, you remove so much judgment from yourself and make it really objective. Is this familiar or unfamiliar? If it's unfamiliar, it's normal that it bothers me or disturbs me because I'm not familiar with it. I need to familiarize myself with it. It takes away so much self criticism for feeling whatever you are feeling. I love that. Chris says that is the definition of courage, to something despite fear and or unfamiliarity. Yeah, it's courage. Courage is the thing, feeling the fear and still doing, going for it. And the last one I want to share is for relationships, because shadow works becomes real in relationships. This is a simple way to stop shadow from leaking out sideways. I call it the one sentence truth with a soft start. Not a lecture, not a performance, just one honest sentence. Examples. Like what? In a situation that is seems to be getting a little bit heated, saying maybe, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now, so I need a minute. Or saying, when a plan changes last minute, I get stressed. Can we check in first? Setting a boundary. Or saying, I want to really talk about this, and this is important for me, for us, but I need some time to process first. You see, you're not saying, you're not pushing or ignoring, but you are setting a boundary, saying that I am not ready for this right now. I need to process a little bit, and then we can talk. The reason this is shadow work is because it stops the old pattern, the people pleasing, shutting down, exploding later. And it trains the nervous system that honesty can also be safe and simple. So, those were the 3 upgrades today. Noticing the movie, breaking the spell, practicing the hidden gift in small doses, and using one sentence truth in relationships. And none of these require digging into old memories. They work right where you are, in texts, conversations, meetings, family dynamics, and everyday stress. So now, if you are ready for it, we can get to the meditation. And Chris says, because why not mindset. Yes. Oh, Craig is here. Welcome, my dear husband. And he says, all are worthwhile. They all are, yes. Thank you. P says, what if you are ready and they are not? You are placating to their lack of capacity. Those examples you gave don't sit right. Can you expand? Okay. Um, which ones specifically don't sit right? Saying the I need a minute. I want to talk about this, but I need time to process. Oh, yeah, you are. Sorry to hear that, P. Those examples, not those examples. Marion, welcome. Just tell me more, P. Chris says, every and anyone who knows me well knows that I don't do last minute things, so they tend to not cross that well established boundary of mine. Yeah, setting those things don't make sense. Okay, which examples? The I'm feeling overwhelmed, so I need a minute, saying that doesn't make sense, P. Yeah. When the plan changes, yeah, setting boundary. Those examples don't make sense. If the other party is not on the same page as you, how can you say these you're saying? Am I You know what? But let's do this, P. Why don't you send me a direct message so that we discuss it offline and we get to meditation now? Can we do that? Would that be okay? Just send me a message, how you see what doesn't sit well with you. What happens when you are ready and they are not? Do we leave it? Um, you can still say these things even if they are not ready. I'm feeling overwhelmed and I need a minute. Would they say no to that when you are discussing something and it is too much for you? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Send me like tell me more, okay? Send me a message. Thank you. Thank you, Martez, Gianna. Martez is Gianna now. Thank you for your donation. Thank you so much. So let's get to meditation. The quote for the meditation today is from me. The part of you that you keep running from is the part of you that needs you most. I'm going to say it again because I want you to keep it with you during the meditation. The part of you that you keep running from is the part of you that needs you most. So, wherever your body is right now, sitting, lying down, leaning back, let it be exactly that. And arrive as you are. For the next little while, you're going to rest in a space where every part of you is allowed to exist. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Focus on your breath, slowing your breath down a little bit. And imagine you are holding a small lantern, not a bright spotlight, but a lantern. It doesn't hunt things down. It doesn't chase shadows. It simply makes enough light to see what's already here. On your next breath in, imagine the lantern brightens just a little. On the breath out, imagine it steadies. With your in breath, the lantern brightens. With your out breath, the lantern steadies. Visualize that for a couple more breaths. Let the breath be natural and let the lantern be an image to help your attention stay gentle. If thoughts come, that's perfectly fine. In this practice, thoughts are just shapes passing through the light that you don't have to follow. Now imagine a quiet hallway with a few doors along it. And behind each door is some part of you. Protective, tender, strong, unsure, tired, brave. And you don't need to open any door. You don't need to know what's behind them. Your job is simpler. You're going to stand in the hallway with the lantern and let the doors be there. Just feel what it's like to stand near your own inner world. without rushing in or running away. If any door feels too close, you can imagine taking one step back in the hallway. Or if everything feels distant, you can imagine taking one small step forward. You are in charge of distance. That's the practice. Now, without aiming at any one part, let the following sentence land within you. You will say it once gently in your own mind, and then let it dissolve. Whatever shows up inside me right now is welcome here. You're not trying to believe it with force. You're just letting the nervous system hear a new option. And if you notice any resistance, like numbness, boredom, skepticism, impatience, let that be another door in the hallway, not a problem, just something present. Now let the lantern fade into the background and shift into something even simpler. And imagine your awareness like a wide bowl. Sounds can fall into the bowl. Sensations can fall into the bowl. Breath can fall into the bowl. Thoughts can fall into the bowl. And none of them spill over. You're not choosing what comes. You're just allowing it to arrive and pass inside something wide enough to hold it. And if you get pulled into a thought, that's okay. When you notice, just come back to the bowl, wide, open, and simple. Now, for a moment, imagine the lantern is shining softly, not on a problem, but on something good in you, something that doesn't need to be proven, not a performance or a big moment, just a truth that there is something decent and real inside of you. Let the body receive that for a few breaths. And now begin to come back. Notice the edges of your body again. Notice the air on your skin. Notice the space you are in. Imagine the lantern is still in your hand, but a little smaller now. Something you can carry into the rest of your day. Not to search for yourself, but just to stay gentle with what appears on your path. Take one easy inhale and a slow exhale. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You don't need to chase wholeness. You practice it by not exiling yourself. From my heart to yours, with all my love and gratitude. Namaste. Oh, Wanda is here. Lovely. You are most welcome, Joanne. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Nida says, that was insightful and deeply moving. Thank you so much for this inspiring session. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Carol, thank you for your donation. I so appreciate it. And thank you, all of you, for being here, for your presence, your willingness, the honesty it takes to do this kind of inner work. I know shadow work isn't always comfortable, but it's deeply freeing. And the fact that you showed up today says something powerful about your commitment to wholeness. Wholeness not being sought, Yes, you don't need to chase wholeness, you practice it by not exiling yourself. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. I also want to say a genuine thank you for your donations. Your support helps me keep offering these live sessions, create new practices, and reach more people who need this kind of care and guidance. So every contribution truly matters, and I feel it. I receive them all with much gratitude. Thank you. Maria, thank you. Sending good wishes to everyone. Thank you, Peg, sharing your knowledge. Thank you, Maria. So, oh, I never put these up. Okay, I forgot about this one. So here you go. This is the next session, next week. Mystical Archetypes series number 3, The Lover. Devotion, desire, open heart. The lover is the energy that brings you back into intimacy with life, not intimacy necessarily with your partner or your other half, but life itself. It's beyond romance. It's devotion, beauty, receptivity, courage to feel. So, together we will explore what closes the heart, like fear, loss, betrayal, and self protection, and what helps it reopen with discernment and healthy boundaries. So, we will practice heart centered embodiment so you can reconnect with warmth and aliveness in you without abandoning yourself. And we will close, as always, with a meditation to nourish tenderness and expand your capacity to receive. Sorry, thank you so much for your donation. And thank you again, everyone, for sharing this space with me today. Take what landed, let it integrate gently, and be kind with yourself as you move back into your day. And I'm really looking forward to being with you again next Friday at the Lover Session. Sending you so much love and light. Remember and never forget, you are loved, you're safe, you're never alone, and I love you, each and every one of you, with all my heart, with all my heart, with every atom, cell of my heart. Have a lovely day, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Bye now.